let's talk to Senator Sanders about that right now. Senator Sanders, thank you for joining us again this morning. We showed in that piece, Donald Trump is now mimicking your arguments about Hillary Clinton. Does that concern you?
Not at all. I mean, Donald Trump lives in his own world. He insults everybody for every reason. He'll attack me. He'll attack Hillary Clinton. He'll attack his own opponents, his own Republican opponents. That does not concern me. What does concern me is that we need to continue this debate, George, about what is happening to ordinary people in America. And that is that the middle class continues to decline. I was in Baltimore yesterday. The level of poverty there is beyond belief. The fact that we have so much income and wealth inequality, the fact that so many of our kids are graduating college deeply in debt, the fact that we're really not engaging in the planetary crisis of climate change. These are the issues that we need to be debating. And we're going to take our campaign through California, through the D.C. primary. We're winning a whole lot of support. I believe that after winning 16 states already, we're going to win a lot more throughout this process. And I think, by the way, George, this is good for democracy. It's good for the Democratic Party.
Meantime, Hillary Clinton's 80% of the way there on the delegates she needs to get the nomination. She's ahead in the most recent polls in Pennsylvania. Most of the states coming up on Tuesday also poll out just this morning, showing that she's ahead in Indiana as well. And David Plouffe, who ran, of course, President Obama's campaign, sent out a tweet saying, you've run a stunningly strong campaign fueled by passionate supporters, but raising money in your fundraising by stating you have a path to the nomination is a fraud. Your response?
Well, David Plouffe is working for the Clinton campaign. And when you talk about raising money and fraud, well, you know what? We have raised 7 million individual campaign contributions, more than any candidate, I believe, in history, averaging $27. And we intend to take the fight all the way to California so people throughout this country have a right to determine who they want as president and what kind of agenda they want for the Democratic Party. Secretary Clinton, helped by David Plouffe and others, have raised enormous amounts of money on Wall Street from special interests. So I would suggest, Mr. Plouffe, don't start criticizing me, who have raised money from ordinary people in small amounts, as doing something fraudulent. I think the people of California, I think the people in 10 remaining states do have the right to vigorously participate in the political process. And I think when people participate, voter turnout goes up. And when voter turnout goes up, Democrats win and Republicans lose.
If the contest doesn't go the way you hope, will you be able to follow the Clinton model of 2008, which she talked about on this GMA town hall this week, and make an enthusiastic case for her the way she pushed for President Obama?
Well, that is totally dependent on what the Clinton platform is and how she responds to the needs of millions of Americans who are sick and tired of establishment politics and establishment economics. You know, I can't snap my finger and tell people what to do, but what I will do is do everything that I can to make sure that somebody like a Donald Trump or some other right-wing Republican does not become president of the United States. We do not need more tax breaks for billionaires, more cuts to Social Security, Medicare, more ignoring the fact Republicans don't even accept the reality of climate change, let alone being prepared to do something about it. So I will do everything that I can to defeat any Republican candidate. The Secretary Clinton is the nominee. She is going to have to make the case to the American people, not just to my supporters, but all Americans, that she is prepared to stand up to the billionaire class. She is prepared to fight for health care for all Americans, that she is prepared to pass paid family and medical leave, make sure that college is affordable for the young people in this country. That is what she has got to do, and I hope if she is the nominee that she does that well.
Would it help if she picked a vice presidential candidate from your wing of the party?
Look, I think that the American people are very tired of establishment politics and establishment economics. I think they're tired of a Congress that gives tax breaks to people who don't need them, but ignore the fact that we have 47 million people living in poverty. So I think that if Secretary Clinton is the nominee, and we're not giving this thing up, we're going all the way to California, but if she is the nominee, I would hope that she puts together the strongest progressive agenda that says, yes, we're going to stand with the working families in this country. We are prepared to take on the fossil fuel industry and the drug companies and Wall Street and the billionaire class. And if she has a candidate for vice president who is prepared to carry that mantle, prepared to engage in that fight, I think that would be a very good thing for her campaign.
You know, you seem to have an unlikely ally now in Charles Koch. In that interview with John Karl, he seemed to agree that the economic system is in many ways rigged. Listen.
You agree that the system is rigged?
Absolutely.
Is rigged in favor of the wealthiest?
Because this two-tiered society creates welfare for the wealthy and creates obstacles to opportunities for the disadvantaged.
Do you think there's a way to keep your movement alive in a bipartisan way going forward? Sorry, Senator, do you think there's a way to keep your movement alive in a bipartisan way going forward?
In a bipartisan way going forward? Well, you know, I think when you talk to the Koch brothers, understand what they mean, George. These guys want to eliminate Social Security. They want to eliminate Medicare and Medicaid. They want to basically do away with virtually every major piece of legislation that has been passed since Franklin Delano Roosevelt was president. That is their understanding of what government should be about. And needless to say, that is not my view. On the other hand, I think you got a lot of Republicans out there, working class Republicans, who understand that there's something wrong when their kids can't afford to go to college, something wrong when their jobs have gone to China and Mexico and they're making 50% of what they used to make. We have in Vermont, and I think in this campaign, attracted a number of working class Republicans who understand that it's important to have a government that fights for all of us and not just the 1%. By the way, that is not what the Koch brothers believe. They believe quite the contrary.
Senator Sanders, thanks very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.